Hello Daily Drafters and welcome back to the channel for today's daily draft. We are once again drafting Outlaws at Thunder Junction. And as mediocre as the format has been for me, it says something about drafting Magic the Gathering that I am just champing at the bit to be back drafting again here. I've taken a little bit of a break as far as my end goes. You've seen drafts every day, but you know, a few days in between drafts for me and I'm just like, let me get back out there and do a couple drafts here. So I'm excited to draft here today, and I'm gonna have a good time. Hope you guys do too. What are we gonna take with our pack one, pick one? Oh, so unlucky. Only one rare in the entire pack, and it's a land. What is this? 2021 Omen Port Vigilante, 2 mana, 2/2, double strike as long as you've committed a crime. Meh. Betrayal at the Vault, not great. Tornado, fine, whatever. I think I'm going to take the Wrangler of the Damned. I've had one deck with this in it, and it basically single-handedly won the several games for me. There is a Vault Plunderer here as well, which I think is good. I've had some decent success in this format, taking powerful cards early and then kind of holding on to them. If you can fit some powerful cards in your deck and even build around them a little bit, it just works out for you pretty well. So the deck that I had the Wrangler in also had Outlaw Stitcher. Now, these cards I pointed out in that draft were kind of like a Nombo. This wants you to cast no spells from your hand, and this wants you to cast all of your spells from your hand. But I did a little bit more thinking about it, and I think this spell is great if you are able to plot a bunch of things, even use your mana to plot, get triggers off of the Wrangler, and then cast those spells off of plot, and then get yourself a 4/4 or a 6/6 maybe if you're lucky, and potentially even still trigger the Wrangler at the end of the end of the turn. Not to mention we first picked the Wrangler here, so I think we're going to be able to build around it and the Outlaw Stitcher. And, you know, maybe we aren't able to go exactly blue-white, but I do like this start. Void Rend is an instant that would require us to splash black that destroys any non-land permanent. Not bad. There's also a Shifting Grift. 4 mana exchange control of 2 creatures. And that's about it. It's not actually that great. I think the best card in this pack is Scalestorm Summoner or Vial Smasher. Both of these are quite good here. I have drafted the whole Red-White Outlaws thing a few times. I would have to abandon both of my picks to do that. I guess I can take Void Rend. I mean, it is any non-land permanent. They can't even counter it. I do have to splash, but there's a lot of deserts in this format. This is very much a green-red card, almost exclusively. Thunder Salvo wants you to do kind of Outlaw Stitcher things as well, but let's take the Void Rend. There is a Thoughtseize here. Which is good. I don't think it's outstanding, though. What else is there? Plan the Heist. There's This Town Ain't Big Enough. I haven't had the chance to put this into a deck, but I think it seems pretty good. There's also Jailbreak Scheme, but This Town Ain't Big Enough is pretty good with Wrangler here. It is an instant. 5 mana bounce 2 things, and 2 mana, bounce a thing, and bounce one of your own things too is also pretty good. There's Outlaw Medic for some little, you know, defensive speed, lifelink drawing cards as well. I'm going to try out This Town Ain't Big Enough. I haven't had the chance to take that card yet, and I do like it. Oh, man. Dance of the Tumbleweeds is one of the best reasons to get into green in this format. And there's 2 copies of it here, and a pick 5 buried in the garden. But there's also a Slickshot Lockpicker, which is very, very good. It goes exactly what we want to be doing with Wrangler, exactly what we want to be doing with Outlaw Stitcher. It's got plot. Usually if green is open, you want to be finding your way into green, but Buried in the Garden could be like a blue-green deck splashing some white. Maybe even if we get enough deserts, we can go 5-color deserts and kind of splash all around, splash Void Rend as well. Buried in the Garden is very, very good. I don't fault you at all for taking the lock picker there. That's a really close one for me, and we're kind of branching out a little bit now. There's a Desert's Due and a Jailbreak Scheme, as well as a Bucolic Range, but I think this is pretty much a green-white gold card here, of which I don't think green-white itself is specifically open. Maybe we could take the Desert's Due and then lean into Buried in the Garden Desert's Due 5-color Deserts deck. There's a Jailbreak Scheme, which again is okay, but I'm just going to take the Desert's Due. It's a deck I haven't really drafted a whole lot. It's a Skewer, Terminal Agony, Lone Shark, but this is a very easy Lonely Arroyo for us. This is exactly what we need if we're going to kind of branch out into deserts here. No deserts in this pack, but there's a Phantom Interference, which, you know, if we switch back to a more, like, straightforward blue-white deck, I think would be very good. Endless Detour, blue-green. I mean, that's the colors we need, but I don't think it's good enough. It's not quite as good as Void Rend, because they have to put it on the back into their library if they want to. It's not a permanent answer. Let's take the Phantom Interference here. Okay, not a lot here. There is a Take Up the Shield on the wheel. It is an instant. Could go well protecting our Wrangler and Stitcher and things like that. So I'll go ahead and Take Up the Shield here. This is a desert for our desert life, but I don't think it's a good desert. So I'll take the Lone Shark, and the Lone Shark goes well with the Stitcher. I'm kind of building the exact same deck that didn't go well for me last time, so I'm not thrilled with that, but that's where I'm at. Maybe we go back into just like straight blue-red, in which case Lone Shark Stitcher would be quite good with something like Thunder Salvo. I think it's the best card in this pack by a lot. I'll take it here. Okay, Jailbreak. So blue is wide open. There is Plan the Heist, but I think Jailbreak Scheme is a good enough removal spell to take it here. That's a late Dance of the Tumbleweeds. I don't think this is a Take the Fall deck, so I'm going to take the Dance of the Tumbleweeds. And a last pick Jailbreak Scheme, so we're the only blue drafter in the entire table is what it looks like. So how can we take advantage of that here? Well, Caustic Bronco is great, but we are probably not playing black here. There's no good desert to take. I think black is our least likely color. There's a Mystical Tether, which is good. There's a Hindering Light, which could be fine. There's Wolverine for the red life. There's Cactarantula if we wanted to go towards the green, like green-blue. We could, again, just kind of be straight blue-white here. I think the Tether is a good enough card. And like I said, blue is pretty wide open. I think we want to be blue today. He says that there's only one blue card in this entire pack, and it's a Harrier Strix, so we won't be taking that. Unfortunately, not a lot of great stuff. There is Magda, the Horde Master, but again, I don't think that's today's draft. Thunder Lasso doesn't really go well in our deck. Security, not great. There's a Prickly Pear, a Shoot the Sheriff, a Deputy for Fixing, a Dance of the Tumbleweeds, which we did take one already. Maybe we can go blue-green. Maybe splash a Tether or something. The Dance is a pretty good pickup. Let's take a Dance here. Okay, Visage Bandit. Not horrible, but I also don't think is great. I do like Spinewood's Paladin, especially in blue-green as well. I don't like Thief or Dazzler that much. I don't think I need to splash Savage Smash. There isn't Eroded Canyons, which only helps out with the Thunder Salvo at this point. If that was a green or blue land that also touched white, I'd probably consider it here. But I think I'll take the Spinewood's Paladin, and I mean, if you're gonna let these great green cards come to me, I'll take them. Beginning of combat, draw a card. Then you can exile an artifact or creature from your hand. If you do, you create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 3/3. Seems a little slow. It's 6 mana. Let's take the Armadillo here. And I guess be looking towards just blue-green high-quality cards. There's a Cactarantula as well, but both of these are quite good. So let's take the Armadillo. That is a late Congregation Griff. Map the Frontier, I don't think is where we want to be. Riku probably also not. There's a Hard Bristle Bandit. I guess I could take that. It helps splash Mystical Tether. It helps ramp towards these bigger creatures. Detention Sphere is not bad either. But we would have to splash that one too, more than likely if we're going blue-green. So I guess we'll take the Bristle Bandit here. And now basically all the blue and green cards are gone. There's also Lila, a Ranch, Retribution. I don't think I'm playing anything in this pack no matter what colors I go. So I guess I'll cut the blue card. Okay. Going blue-green, then splashing white is something we are interested in doing for the Tether and the Buried in the Garden. So the Creosote Heath is going to be perfect here. All right, Doc Orlock. For those of you that watched last Friday's draft, this is starting to look a whole lot like that deck. We're thinking something along the lines of this here, Doc Orlock, with some plot. Not a ton, but some. Alright, pick 9. We wheeling all the blue cards. I don't think a single blue card went out of this pack. Like I said, we are the only blue drafter here, so take the Thunder Thief, I guess. Not playing Crom, not splashing Hindering Light. This was the only blue card on the second pick, and it's the only blue card left here. Both of the blue cards came back here. Both of the blue cards came back here. I mean... yeah, I don't... well... maybe we play Riku. We've got 3 jailbreak schemes. That's not bad. We'll see. Alright, Slick Shot Show Off. Probably not for today. There is a Repulse here. I do really like Repulse. There's a Phantom Interference and a Snakeskin Veil, as well as a Bristling Backwoods for splashing the Riku. So whenever you cast a modal spell, choose up to X, where X is the number of times you chose a mode. So you can get birds and things. We've got Phantom Interference, Jailbreak, Double Dance of the Tumbleweeds. I mean, we got a good amount of modal spells. I just don't know if we really need to splash Riku. So I think I'm just going to take the Repulse here. And maybe we get away to splash Riku if we want. Wow. That's a Terror of the Peaks. I don't think we can take it. Got 10 creatures and we're much more of... I mean, we can't play double red, really, so... you're welcome, neighbor? Gosh, that feels horrible. There's a Throw from the Saddle, but we've got a lot more interaction that is less creature-based. There's a Conduit Pylons and a Lush Oasis. I think I'll take the Oasis here. There's a Gem Lightfoot. There's a lot of different routes we could have went this draft, but Terror of the Peaks feels bad to pass. There's another Riku. Braided Bluffs, Mirage Mesa, Giant Beaver. Our curve is really not looking great right now. I mean, like, these are all... that's all we have for the 2s, basically. I don't think we need a Giant Beaver as well. So do I just take the Mesa to help splash here and fix us a little bit? I don't think we need the Bluffs necessarily. Maybe this Riku wheels as well. I love Intimidation Campaign. I don't think this is an Intimidation campaign. Well, we've got triple Jailbreak Scheme, Phantom Interference, Repulse, Tether, Buried, Town Ain't Big Enough. I mean, it's either that or, I guess, Fibblethip. That's a pretty darn good combo with Doc Orlock here. Oh, plot. No, I figured this out last Friday too. Plotting cards from your hand cost 2 less. You know, let's take Intimidation Campaign over a Stop Cold here. Maybe we can splash that as well. So another Mirage Mesa. This is going to be a very slow deck, but man, it's going to be powerful. There's an Eroded Canyon, which would be great for splashing Riku as well, but it doesn't help with splashing the campaign, and we only have one source of black right now, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Mesa. Alright, Kellen, get on in. This is basically just Friday's deck, which did go 7-1 in trophies, so it was a good deck, but guess we'll just take Kellen the Kid here and just play some powerful cards. Decisive Denial. Creatures can fight, or you can counter a non-creature spell unless they pay 3. There's Fleeting Reflection, which can protect your creatures, as well as another This Town Ain't Big Enough. No, I'm going to take This Town Ain't Big Enough number 2. I think it seems pretty good. There's a Tumbleweed Rising and a Jailbreak Scheme number 4. I think I'm just going to keep taking the interaction here. Phantom Interference number 2. I think the Silver Deputy is actually going to be pretty playable here if we're trying to splash and go literally 5 colors in this deck. So let's take Silver Deputy. Wield Gem Lightfoot. I don't know how much synergy we have with this, but would I rather just take a Djinn of the Fool's Fall? I'll take Gem Lightfoot. I don't think I'm going to play it, though. Oasis Gardener? Maybe. Probably not. Look, Stop Cold Wield anyway. Maybe we play that. Geyser Drake? Probably not. And Desecrator. This will be an interesting one. I'm going to go ahead and build this deck, and I'm going to see you guys after deck building. Okay, here's where I ended up, and this is going to be an interesting deck, to say the least. I mean, our threats are Kellen and Riku. Riku with 6 modal spells, I think is actually going to be pretty good. That's going to be quite a threat to make other things like birds and impulse card draw. Doc Orlok with only 3 plot spells, not great. We do have an Armadillo for fixing as well as Silver Deputy for fixing, Double Tumbleweeds for fixing, Buried in the Garden for fixing, Hard Bristle Bandit fixes, and at least one of every basic lane, as well as 5 deserts too. This is, I mean, I don't know how we win necessarily. We just land a couple of decent big-sized creatures and remove everything else they've got. Bounce some things like Stitcher to our hand and hope it's good enough. I mean, it's certainly going to be powerful against non-aggro draws. But, yeah, I'm willing to give it a try. We played a very, very similar deck to this on Friday, and it did get the trophy. So it's going to be a close one. Could be real bad, could be real good. I'll figure it out together with you. See you in game 1. Alright, here we are on the draw with the fine hand. Counter their 2-drop, bounce their 3-drop, plot our 4-drop, bounce 2 things potentially. We will not be at all struggling for interaction here. Green, white. Okay. I guess we'll just repulse now. Probably. Like if they play a 4-drop, we're just going to bounce it, draw a card here. Plotting. Beastbond Outcaster. Okay. Buried in the Garden is good. So what they can do is they can play a 4-drop and then play an Outcaster to draw a card. But next turn I can bounce 2 things to their hand. Yeah, that seems okay. So let's plot this. And we've got all kinds of interaction and removal here. Like I can, This Town Ain't Big Enough, bounce 2 of their creatures and then also Loan Shark draw a card. That still doesn't trigger. let's just do that. And then play Loan Shark, draw a card, and now we're kind of doing exactly what we want to do with this deck here. Sentry and fighting, okay. Or biting, because that's what every single spell in this format does here. It bites rather than fights. Buried in the Garden is really awkward here. It does help us fix for the rest of our cards, though, which I think is important. I don't really want to be getting rid of this stuff, though, so I guess I can just double bounce with This Town Ain't Big Enough again. But then next turn I have to do the same thing. Yeah, I think that's still better. This is an instant, right? Yeah, I think that's better than just playing Buried in the Garden and doing nothing else, because I don't really want to get rid of this stuff. I'd rather get rid of something bigger and more threatening. I mean, even that, I'd rather Buried in the Garden, to be honest, because that's their only 4-powered creature that they're showing right now. That wasn't great. Someone is excitedly firing off fireworks for some reason. Don't exactly know why, but here we are. Yeah, I definitely made the mistake there of not bouncing the Grizzly, because they still could have played it, but also bouncing this thing let them draw an extra card. I don't know why I did that. So let's go ahead. Target this here. Get rid of that. And then just kind of get campaign going, I think. We got a bunch of ways to commit crimes. Sorry, also the dog doesn't like fireworks, for those of you that couldn't tell. So I'll deal with him after this game. Sorry about that. Alright, just replaying everything. Ooh. Could be fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana left over after this. An awkward amount. Can we afford to take 6 next turn? Yeah, let's do it. We're not under a ton of pressure here. We have 3 ways to commit crimes. We can, if we draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we draw a land, we can still only do 2 of these technically, but that does make Outlaw Stitcher cast as a 6/6, which would be good. Another Bighorn. Actually, no, because the Bristleband is actually going to be untapping itself, so we can cast all 3 of these. Oh, well, it untaps once, so. Okay, so let's start by doing this, I guess. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana technically. Except we can't do Void Rend and Campaign. Actually, we can't do Campaign and Scheme either. We could do Dance of the Tumbleweeds, but I want to cast that for 6. So can I do Void Rend and Scheme here? No. So I can't really triple spell in the way I want to, unfortunately. I've got enough action. I think I can afford to just do this. Go get probably a Mesa, I think. And then cast Stitcher here. Now, if they can deal with the 8/8, that's not great. We do have a 1/4 blocker. Still a lot more interaction in hand. Bridled Bighorn deck, although we did bounce that one, so. Don't know what they have, but I guess I'll call their bluff here. They had nothing. So jailbreak scheme for 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of is what we have. I can almost just kill them in 2 turns with this zombie and jailbreak scheme here. That seems pretty darn good. So do this and then do this here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess. Now we still have 4 mana. Next turn, jailbreak scheme wins the game. So let's just do this here. Play the desert, why not? And pass the turn and see if this card can deal with a 9/9. It cannot. So that means we do win here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Well, I don't care. I'm just doing this. No reason to get cute. So put it here. Bounce that thing. Auto pay. And there we go. Yeah, we had all of the interaction. I think I played that game horribly, and it still worked out for us there. Got a little bit distracted throughout, but it still worked out, so that bodes well for the rest of the draft. Alright, this hand seems fine. Armadillo more than likely going to be cycled to go grab a land here, and then jailbreak scheme to bounce a couple of their things, and bounce, 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 and that's what this deck's doing. So we'll keep it. We'll see what lands we draw if we do want to go ahead and channel, for lack of a better word, the Armadillo here. They have mulligans, so they're making some decisions, it seems. Jailbreak scheme, man. This card is overperformed for me. I mean, it's 3 mana. Usually this effect to put a card on the top or bottom of their library is 4 mana and instant speed. So they discounted us instant speed to sorcery for just 1 fewer mana, but also the ability to win the game out of nowhere like we did last game, which I think is pretty good. So don't sleep on this card. It's done a lot of good work for me. Yeah, I don't think we can play the Mesa, unfortunately. So we're going to channel the Armadillo and go get... I mean, I don't really know which color here. Decent thing to go bounce. I don't think we're going to get a desert here, so let's get probably... I guess black is more the most cards that we have, right? We have a white, 2 white cards, 3 white cards, a red card, and a black card. So maybe white here. Let's go get white then. We'll just bounce that that Congregation Gryph here now. There it goes again. We can do the same thing. So now Mirage Mesa, I guess, on black this time. And let's see if they want to keep doing it here. We'll just take the tempo. I mean, we've got 2 more bounces here. We could also just play a Spinewood Paladin next turn and start beating down. If they want to keep playing Congregation Gryph, then I'll just keep bouncing it into Oblivion. Oh, they shuffled it away, or they put it on the bottom this time. They were like, nope, need to hit my land drop. That's a 3/3. Kellen. Quite good with Spinewood's Paladin here. We have to play a little bit off curve, but that's... You may cast a permanent spell. So currently, if we play the Spine, if we plot the Paladin and then play Kellen, we don't have a permanent to play. So I think I'm actually just gonna play the Paladin. Now this thing might just die to a throw from the saddle or something, but so would have Kellen, and then so would Kellen have next turn. And we would have had to draw exactly a permanent spell to get any value from Kellen there. So I do think that Spinewood's Paladin does die here to throw from the saddle. That's usually how this works against green-white. But if we draw an untapped land, we can dance of the Tumbleweeds for 7, which is going to be great. If we don't, we can hold up This Town Ain't Big Enough. There's a few options we have. Trained Erinx holding up Snakeskin Veil here. Did not draw the land. So let's see if they want... Oh, no Snakeskin Veil. I don't know what it was. So I can play Kellen and hold up Phantom Interference here. That seems pretty good. They're pretty choked on mana. I think I'll opt for that. Did find their land here. Unfortunately can't counter a throw from the saddle now, which is very annoying. But they've proven they haven't had that. They have some sort of instant speed trick, but they would have had to have top deck throw from the saddle last turn, which they would have used, so they don't have that card in hand. Hopefully whatever they have is at least 3 mana. If they go for some sort of 2-mana based fight spell, I can bounce both creatures here. We're fine to take 6, because this does have lifelink. And we'll go ahead and counter that, and should be off to the races. Ooh, Riku that I can't cast. Sure. I'll just hold up this town here. I'd really rather cast Tumbleweeds for 6 as opposed to 3. Thinking about all their options here, I guess. They did top deck the Throw from the Saddle. Now, if they just play the Trained Arinx, we do have lethal. So they gotta have something better than that. And they don't. Man, this deck has been quite good so far. Alright, we start on the play this time. And now, we don't have any blue in hand, but any land lets us play Dance on turn 3 to find the blue, which lets us really start going off here. I'm going to keep it because of the Dance. If this were just like a random 4 or 5 drop, I would definitely send this back, but because this is Dance of the Tumbleweeds, I'm going to go ahead and keep this here. And obviously need to find any land in the next 2 turns. So that is the key. And now we got one more turn here. But in a deck that plays 17 lands, you are well over 70% to hit a land in 2 draw steps. So go ahead, do this, put it onto the battlefield. Oh, and we can get a desert. Ooh. Forgot about that. So blue-white, blue-green. Blue-white seems better. If only we had the blue-red. Could do Mesa for red, but I obviously need blue. So let's get the Lonely Arroyo here. Fortune, Loyal Steed. Okay. Top decking more islands wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Though getting Riku on the battlefield would also be pretty good. So pretty much the worst draw we could have had there. Not the worst, but one of the worst. I guess I'm going to stop cold Fortune here. And actually, because they're playing blue-white, they could have a counterspell. I'm just going to do this now. I don't see a reason to try to play into their counterspell here. They are playing blue-white, so that does make the stop cold worse. They could have bounce things like, you know, Jailbreak Scheme as well. What is this? Oh, just some busted mythic rare I probably can't beat. That's great. Okay. Alright, well, Missing more land drops here. Obviously not great. So whenever you cast a spell during your turn other than the first spell, create a 2/2 whenever it enters the battlefield, but a counter on it for each other zombie. Gosh. Yeah, all this is just not what we need here. Obviously, we took a little bit of a risk with our keep, and they went 2-drop, 3-drop, 3-drop plus a 1-drop plus a 2/2, so that's going to make things very difficult on us. Especially as we stumble a bit here. This is the downside of playing decks like this. If you can't get your mana underneath you, then this kind of stuff happens. But they've already 2-for-1'd us like at least twice. So hopefully they don't counter this. If they counter this, then we're just completely gone, I think. Oh, perfect. Okay, that makes things basically impossible here, I think. Yeah, we're at 4. Like, what are we going to do? They're going to turn that into a 3/3 flyer. We're going to miss another land drop. We could play Kellen and Doc Orlock, but then can't cast anything else at all. But this does have lifelink, but they could just tap it down? Well, oh, they've also got counters here. Or some sort of interaction, obviously. Yeah, Kellen not really at his best right now. Wrangler, block, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, gain 3. Technically not dead, but pretty darn close to it. And if they can remove Kellen, then we are technically dead. Two cards in hand we can't cast, obviously. Makes things a whole lot worse this game. Just our mana situation didn't quite work out, and they did get off to a great start. I wouldn't say an aggressive start, but just a very, very solid 2-drop, 3-drop rare, 3-drop mythic into a 1-drop into a 2/2 into a, yeah, it's a really good combo. Because now this thing is just going to make another free 2/2 for them. I think, I'm not sure what we're doing here. Still can't cast 2 cards. Sure, go ahead. So I can bounce 1, 2, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still not dead. And a very nice streamlined blue-white deck over there. That won't do it. No, I don't need to access the audio menu. I need to concede the game. Alright, we are on the play again, and we have 4 of our 5 colors here. We're missing black, and Stitcher isn't great. Scheme does bounce things. If we can find a way to find our black, this hand's going to be pretty good. Didn't work last time, so I'll kick myself in the foot for doing this, but I do think Scheme goes a long way in not dying. Come on, why you gotta play a 1-drop? Buried in the Garden, incredibly awkward considering we can only produce green or white, but not green and white. And here comes a 2-drop. No? Alright. I'm not gonna do anything with Scheme here now, so... Let's see what else happens. No other plays. That's good. What now? What now? Let's go ahead and plot the Paladin now. That is one of the best rares, and actually I think the best rare in the entire set. Create 2 foods. When it attacks, you can sack a food. If you do, mill 3 cards, put a permanent from them into your hand. Alright, well at least we have Buried in the Garden here. And we're going to get rid of that right now. And do we wait to play the Paladin for something like Stitcher? I don't think so. I think we just put a 5/4 on the battlefield and go from there. Really hope they don't have main deck enchantment removal to get back their farmer here. Looks like they don't. Four mana, can cast a Loan Shark, draw a card. I don't necessarily want to trade Paladin with Ankle Biter here. So let's just... I can also plot the Loan Shark and then Stitcher. So next turn we could like scheme the Ankle Biter, play Loan Shark, draw a card, play Stitcher, make a 6/6. Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit of a later game here, so accruing the value is going to be important. Treasure Dredger. Yeah. Hold up a food or something? Sure. Alright, let's see if you want to put Ankle Biter on the top of your library or not. I can't imagine they do. They are thinking about it, though. Sure, I'll bring it to my hand. Looks like they'll just sacrifice it. That's fine, because we can also kill the Desecrator at some point if that becomes a problem. Can't quite do Bandit and Stitcher here, so I can do Bandit and Intimidation Campaign. Let's just get the Stitcher. Well, I could plot the Stitcher. And then next turn cast at least 3 spells. No, I don't think that's worth it. We're still going to get at least a 4/4 out of this here. Didn't do exactly the math. Could be a 6/6. Yeah, 6/6. That seems fine. I don't need to get greedy just to get an 8/8 one turn later. Black mana situation, a little awkward because we only have 1 black mana source here off of the forest, so we can only campaign but can't void rend the same turn. But that should be relatively okay. We could also play Bandit, and next turn we can have double black. Potentially triple black if we untap it. They seem to either be having connection issues or enjoying a nice sandwich on their end. Either are fine. Alright, here they come. They're back. Honest Rutstein playing Ankle Biter. Okay. Not a horrible turn. Let's start here, return it back to our hand, because why not? Play a Bandit, and then do we want to tether something here? I mean, I can tether their Desecrator and then have pretty good attacks with everything else. Could also tether their Ankle Biter and then have attacks with these two. That seems okay. I'm sure they'll trade with that one, but then the 6/6 still just kind of eats their creature there, so that's okay too. Now our board is looking pretty good. That Ankle Biter's just really annoying against our deck. Like, we're just trying to attack with honest creatures. Just as their Rutstein is. But this thing was just getting in the way. I had to remove it twice. So you know it's a decent 1-drop. Alright, get rid of my 6/6 for good. Not horrible. Black, blue, something else. Huh. That could be pretty interesting. I don't really want to return the Honest Rutstein here. But I can return 2 of my cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. So I bounce this for 2. I cast a Stitcher again. That's almost really interesting. Let's go to combat and hit with a Loan Shark here, see what happens. Next turn I can make some busted plays if I do some things here, but let's do this. Auto pay. Probably go get a crime land, or I guess Mesa. Well, Mesa's the same as Swamp here. I would put it on black. But now I can at least hold up. This town ain't big enough if I need to bounce a couple of my things for some reason. Another ankle biter. Sure, they'll get conduit pylons here. That makes most sense. Alright, obviously lots I can do. I have lethal assuming they have nothing, but that's obviously not a guarantee here. So let's just start and see if they've got some interaction. One, two, three, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana if I want it. I could bounce 2 things. They're at 11. Technically because of the food. We can do this, and it's going to come to our hand anyway because we commit a crime. So... well, yeah, I want 6 mana, so I can actually cast Stitcher too. Yeah, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can cast the Stitcher after this. I don't have plans on attacking with it necessarily. Either they can deal with the 9/9 or they can't. That's the main thing this turn. Because this is still 12 damage, which is lethal past the food, so they have to be able to kill the 9/9. And it looks like they can. So we'll replace it with an 8/8. That should be fine. So let's tap this for black, white, and blue. And there we go. See? I mean, when this thing ticks, it really ticks. Alright, opponent goes first. We've got Orlok into Plotting Stitcher, maybe. I don't know if we want to hold up Phantom Interference or not, but... I say yes. We can stop cold like their Congregation Griff or something here at some point if that is what they play. Nothing. Alright, well, let's plot this, I guess. Ooh, Haven Interrupter. Spells we cast from graveyards or exile cost 2 less to cast, but interestingly, Doc Orlock brings that back down to 0. But they also have Giant Beaver here, so... let's just do this and get a 4/4. I mean, we don't have to kind of go too crazy with the Stitcher here, and getting a 4/4 down this early is pretty good. Put a counter on the Interrupter, sure. Well, they got a bunch of flyers here. I mean, this is it's a 4-turn clock currently. Yeah, no thanks. Prefer you didn't. So I can play Riku this turn and then kick Dance of the Tumbleweeds next turn, or I can just kick this now and get a 6/6. I think I can... I think I can wait a turn for Riku. Maybe that's wrong, but... like, just play Riku and then kick, or like do this for both next turn. Although getting a 6/6 now is a 6/6 isn't, no, it'd be a 7/7, which is a huge difference with Supplier and Interrupter on the board here. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. Go and get probably a black source here. And do I trade? Yeah, sometimes I get too far ahead of myself as far as playing the 7/7 or not. Or like playing things before I attack. Obviously, I thought when I played this I wasn't going to attack, and then as soon as I got to attacks I was like, am I fine trading this off? And I'm like, yeah, I'll get rid of that thing. I mean, if they have the like Mystical Tether or something here, that's obviously not great for us, but I mean, there's nothing we can do about that really, so go to combat. I don't know what they have, but we're just going to attack here. Some way to deal 4 at instant speed? Or do they really need the mana from the Harbristle Bandit to like create a red or something on their turn? Yeah, I guess they really need whatever mana this is going to create here. Like, pretty badly. Alright, well, they're going to have to chump this thing. What if they just block here, though? 7, 8, 9, 10. So they could just eat the Riku. Go to 1. So whenever that dies, create a number of tapped treasures equal to its power. Wow, that's a lot, but they only have 2 cards in hand. Alright, go ahead and eat my creature if you want and go to 1. You're dead to a crime land now. Okay, Drover Grizzly, Congregation Griff with lifelink. Sure. And that should do it. Yeah, alright, so we'll do this one and the lifelinker here. Oh, they also have Snakeskin Veil. Okay, that's good for you, good for you. Let's see if that does anything. I guess it does. Although, no it doesn't, because... yeah, you still have to tap the Bristle Bandit. Okay. We did get a little lucky there. I think they were about a turn away from turning the corner, but... we were able to use our power to push through. Alright, we're up first with a turn 2, Doc Orlock, turn 3 Jailbreak Scheme, and some more mana too. This town ain't big enough, so, I mean, I think this hand is keepable. A lot of things we can draw. Now we can plot Stitcher on 3, and then on 4 we can just bounce and make a 4/4. No, don't. Okay. Yeah, I'll just plot Stitcher here, and then... I guess they're just going to use a removal spell on Doc Orlock. Let's see if that's what they do, so they can attack. Yeah, that's what I thought they would do. At least they can't advance their board. Next turn, we Jailbreak Scheme, put this on their deck, and then make a 4/4. So that's pretty good. And if they are able to double spell with the Caustic Bronco, we have plenty more bounce coming. The Buzzard. Okay. Silver Deputy getting red, potentially? Do we need to get the red? I could also still hold up this town by bouncing, like, Deputy to my hand while also bouncing Bronco. Do I want to put red on top of my deck, though? I mean, what else is the Silver Deputy in the deck to do except to do that? Tap land, untapped land. I guess. Let's see what their play is here. If they go to remove something, we can use this town. If they go to remove the Deputy in response to a block here. Okay, they found a Bloodseeker. Then we can also bounce a couple of things. Let's go ahead and bounce this and... yeah, we'll bounce the Stitcher. Next turn we can make another 4/4. Play a land. Bounce 2 things. Play the Stitcher, make another 4/4. And we seem to be out-tempoing them here. The Bronco has sort of lost relevancy at this point. Not entirely, but, I mean... Now they've got some decent blocks here. The Servant does have Death Touch, can kill our 4/4s. I guess I'll trade one of them. And then see if they double block here. Sure. Everything is gone. You're at 10. And they got more gas than we do at this point now. Of course, they drew the land, didn't lose any life. Probably just going to Void Rend the Bronco before combat here. I mean, I don't really have anything else to do. Hopefully they don't play anything bigger. Nope. Plotting a Loan Shark. Hey, I can do that too. Vadmir, Loan Shark, draw a card. Sure, lots of good things. Let's hope I don't draw land so I can actually get value off this Loan Shark. That's a pretty darn good draw. Pass the turn. And probably stop Cold Vadmir, I would think. That's fine. Because now the Intimidation campaign is the biggest problem. Because this thing can get lifelink eventually. Turn that into a 4/4. I can trade that with their Loan Shark or something. Yeah, that's fine. Just start whittling down their board a little bit. Because I got a 5/4 trample coming here. That is now dead. I am still at 22 life though, so just need to keep drawing cards that commit crimes so Intimidation campaign can keep going off and refilling our hands here. Nice. Nice draw. Rictus Robber. Okay. I do believe... Oh, it tapped wrong. Oh. Dang it. Now I can't replay Intimidation campaign. Oh, that's frustrating. Unless... Yeah. I'm still going to take the crime land, though, to re-trigger it, but boy, it would have been nice to be able to replay it had it not tapped with another island there. Hopefully it's alright. Okay, they're playing a lot of creatures, that's for sure. Alright, so this, and this. Let's go ahead and enchant that. Commit a crime, getting rid of Vadmir here. And that, I see the writing on the wall there at that point, so it didn't come back to hurt us that it tapped the wrong way. Alright, the power of Silver Deputy is going to make this one a keep. Go ahead and get a green, and then can cast Tether, a Jailbreak Scheme. Well, now what do I do? I guess play Mesa on green, and then Deputy gets something else next turn? Could also play Doc Orlok next turn, but I don't know if I need to do that. Go get a black or a red. Probably a black with Deputy at this point. And untapped black or tapped black? Am I doing anything next turn? I can get a tapped black. Well, if I get an untapped black, I can play tap land, Doc Orlok next turn, and then untap black buried in the garden the turn after. Or just Jailbreak Scheme or Tether, and then put it off one more turn with another tap land. With Mirage Mesa here. It's very slow, obviously very slow, but I think it's okay. Because next turn I could just play Doc Orlok, play Arroyo. The following turn I have the option to do either of these two things. And then the following turn after that, I can bury it in the garden. There is a giant beaver. I'll have to take 4 to do this, but that's okay. Not super okay, but it is what it is. Because the beaver's probably getting saddled up and putting a counter somewhere this turn, I would think. Hopefully there's no 6-drop mount that's super bad for me. Yeah, there's the saddle. Free Strider lookout pretty good. Gosh, if they have Snakeskin Veil, that makes this horrible here. Let's go this. And do I do Scheme or Tether? I think I'd like to get rid of Lookout permanently, but I need to get rid of Beaver now. So let's do Scheme on the Beaver and really hope there's no Snakeskin Veil. Ugh. There is a Snakeskin Veil. That card is so good in this format, man. Why is that card so busted? Oh, that's even worse. A way to protect it and a way to commit a crime. Well, that's probably game. That turn right there is so good for them that I think that's probably the game in this spot, unfortunately. I mean, now we have to take like 10. And the reason I did that is because I'm not blocking either of these two creatures here. I could have held it back to block Stable Master, but that probably doesn't matter either. So, yeah, that'll do real good. Got a nice little curve out here. And I was playing tap land after tap land and playing basically one turn behind, so... I guess I can channel the Spinewoods Armadillo right now to gain 3 life if I feel like I'm about to die. It turns out that doesn't even matter. Gaining 3 life won't do anything in this spot, so... Yep, we just lost to a couple basically unbeatable curve outs so far this draft. Nice little start here with Deputy, I think. I mean, just kind of ensuring our land drops. Could even dance on our way to ramping ourselves to Armadillo. How do we want to start this, though? Mirage Mesa, probably on... I want to make a decision in turn 2 once I figure out what I draw here to see what I want to do with Deputy. And I'll just play this. The land sequencing has been super interesting in this deck. Because see, now we drew the blue, so I don't have to put this on blue anymore. So we could just go get probably a black, I would think. And I think I would like this game for the black to be an untapped source. Because what I can do is next turn I could just play Dance the Tumbleweeds going and getting red now. And now next turn we play probably either one of these. Probably Mesa on blue, following turn Forest into Armadillo. And that'll be how we'll get this game going here. Now we'll have 2 blue at some point, so Mesa on black? Because we have a couple of black spells, as well as Intimidation Campaign constantly wants black mana. And then next turn we just slam an Armadillo and go from there. Holding back Girid. Don't know why, but okay. Eartha Joe making 2... Oh no. Oh jeez, what a combo. Yeah, okay, that's busted. Wow. This does not have trample, I'll tell you that. Wow, this gives plus 10 plus 0 now to something because of all these mercenaries? Because of Eartha Joe? Huh. What a turn. I don't think I've ever seen a turn that explosive. They went from 2 creatures to 6 creatures with 5 mana. And they can make this thing an 11-1 attacking, or make this like a 13-3 attacker. I guess Silver Deputy is going to be jumping in front of whatever they do. Alright, attacking with a 10-1. Oh no, they're just going to do that and then, like, also remove it. Use removal potentially with throw from the saddle. Yeah, I mean, good for them. They've done the thing, that's for sure. Maybe they have a way to give it trample. Oh, do they have that card that gives, like, plus, like, gives things trample, makes it draw 2 cards when it hits us, all sorts of things like that? What else you got? Trash the Town, I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's Trash the Town. That's got to be what it is. Yeah, for sure. Alright. GG. We have well and truly thoroughly lost this game here. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3. Can't do both. Perfect. I mean, we could do both if we cast this at sorcery speed. But that clearly doesn't help us that much. Like, we tap that down and then they attack with everything else. Man, that was a heck of a curve out. Good for them. Good for them. But you know what? 5 and 3. I'll take 5 and 3s. 5 and 3s are fine. That is getting your money back on the draft and moving on up in the ranks. And it's better than we've been doing in this format. Just ran into, like, I think every single game that we lost with this deck, we were losing no matter what. They had, like, the absolute best curve out I think any of those decks could have possibly had. Maybe I could have held up Mystical Tether instead of casting Kellen there, and then they wouldn't have been done Trash the Town, and I could have tethered in response, which would have been good, but, like, that turn where we were tapped out was the turn that they just, like, won the game without us really having any response to it. So, 5 and 3 is what it is. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time for your daily draft.